Paris is 2.35 east, and Barcelona is 2.16 east. So you're right. Paris is a little bit more east.
Hey, I'm just proud. I knew that, though, right off the grip. Ain't nobody can say I'm no stupid American that can't read a map.
Well, yeah.
Fires, Mike Sims, Walker, knocked down.
Oh my God! Davis is going running all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game.
In trouble, he's going to be sacked. No, gets away. He runs, gets away again, goes to the 40, gets away again.
Jackson takes it himself. Look at him dart back and forth. Oh! He broke his ankles.
I have never seen this before in my life.
Still looking, firing, near corner. It's caught.
Denver, unbelievable. And welcome to the fourth down fiasco.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Fourth Down Fiasco, your go-to podcast for all things football. And let's just say, in the European League of Football, we had a damn good weekend this past weekend. But with me are the rising stars of the podcast industry, the baby-faced boy wonder, Danny Weber, and the man whose beard is as big and as thick as his heart, Tanner Vinsky. Say hello to the people.
Hey.
Hello.
I know I normally introduce myself first. I apologize, fellas, to throw you off like that. But I am the bald-headed Dominican daddy, Jordan Pryor. And yes, you are listening to the Fourth Down Fiasco. We ask that you rate us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. It's the best way for us to be able to grow the show. We know we have a lot of international listeners, so please tell us where you're giving us a rating from. We'd love to be able to hear from you. But with that, man, let's dive into a surprisingly exciting slate of games that we had this past week. There are a lot more close games than I thought there were going to be. So, Danny, you want to run us through what we have?
Sure, I can do that. All right, the battle of the winless teams is won by the Enthroners 38-6 over the Lions. The Centurions shock the Galaxy 35-28. The Mercenaries put up a tough fight against one of the top ELF team, the Vikings, losing 49-40. The Bravos played against the Dragons and won 54-0. The Dragons did not forfeit at halftime, though.
Woo!
The Thunder comes storming back against the Musketeers, but fall late, 35-27. The Fire continued dominating the last couple weeks, as they do, powered by Glenn Tunga himself, winning 61-23 against Hamburg Sea Devils in front of 25,000 plus fans. And the Surge almost fall to the Raiders, narrowly winning 30-25.
Yeah. Hell of a week. Hell of a week.
Yeah.
I guess we'll start with the battle at King Shit Hill over here with Farivar and Prague. I definitely thought that Prague was going to be the better of the two shit teams, but
Me too.
Yeah, I think we all did.
Yeah. Okay, so we all picked Prague.
Yeah,
No.
Well, we picked the Enthroners for you last week when you were gone, and you said, "Why would I pick the Enthroners?" Because they won 38-6.
Yeah. Well, I should have. The one time that I don't want to pick the Enthroners is the one time that they win. So maybe I'm a good luck charm for them.
That's true.
Is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. But no, I was watching this game, and the new Prague quarterback, Perkins, he would snap the ball and get hit almost instantly. I think it was worse than Helvetic's offensive line in the beginning of the season.
He was running for his life, and he was running for his life against a defense that isn't good. Is that so?
Oh, yeah.
So Prague's in for a rough couple of games for Perkins for sure moving forward.
Give him some time, and he can make a play. Like, he had some flashes here and there when you gave him more than a second. But
when he could actually set his feet and not have to worry about someone, smashing the shit out of him.
Yeah, seriously.
Mangle had himself a nice day, though, 22 of 32 for 373 and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, that's a nice little stat line right there.
That's true. Yeah. I was watching this game, and the defensive back for the Lions, Petion, Petion, he needs help. He was trying to press coverage the entire game, and he would get beat play after play after play after play. And I think he gave up maybe all 3 of the touchdowns, at least 2 of the touchdowns, because he could not stay with anyone.
Cracks me up. There's a video going around right now for the new college football game that's out, NCAA 25. I'm not going to call it college football. And there's a feature where you, as the My Player mode, you can like get the crowd into it. And a guy was doing press coverage and was doing it, and they snapped it and they scored on him. And he like lost like his experience points or whatever because it was bad play. And that's what it looked like the entire game for him.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Tanner, what are your thoughts?
I don't have much. I'm going to be honest. I mean, we've been kind of saying the whole year that we need Prague to play a bad team because Prague like needs to get a win. And well, they played a bad team, and yeah, that was a mistake. Maybe they should have kept playing good teams so we could keep giving them credit.
Yeah.
But no, they're terrible.
Now our excuse is this the new quarterback? He was just learning the system.
No. They were playing Farivar. No.
Yeah, it's one thing to lose to Farivar. It's one thing to get blown out by Farivar.
Yeah, you got bent over by Farivar. That's not a good look.
No, not at all.
Yeah, Farivar beat him worse than the Panthers did, Berlin did, Hamburg did.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Sometimes this league don't make no sense.
No, it's weird. It's fun, though.
It is.
But yeah, that's all we need to talk about, the crappy game.
Cologne Centurions, Frankfurt Galaxy. I think we all also got this one wrong, didn't we?
Yes, and I'm actually glad we got this wrong because I'm a closeted Cologne guy just because it's Isaiah Weed.
I mean, hey, best last name. Well, second best last name of any quarterback in the league right now. I'd still put him first, but
no, I was watching this game alongside Matt Bresington on his little live stream, and he didn't throw a touchdown, but he had a rushing touchdown. But the little name we called it, everyone was saying this week, was legalize it because of weed. His little MVP of the game chant. That's all I got for this game.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, he had, 11 rushes for 86 yards, took off and ran for 86 yards. Ameln had a decent little day, 21 carries, 86 yards. Fuchs, or is it Fuchs or Fox?
Whatever you want to say.
Fox,
I think it's Fox. Bro, he fucks. That's all he But also, another good rushing performance for him as well, 15 for 72 and a touchdown. Not a ton was done from the receiving core with the exception of Lurks. But the running back duo and the quarterback were getting plenty on the ground, and they were able to dominate the time of possession, 37 and a half minutes to 22 and a half minutes. So that was really what the game boiled down to, was just long sustained drives where you needed 4 yards, they'd get you 5,
Mm-hmm.
And it felt for a lot of the game that Frankfurt was really just shooting themselves in the foot because they had a couple of opportunities late in the fourth to steal this one away from Cologne. Cologne was stalling a lot, and they kept getting the ball back with chances to score, and they just couldn't get it done.
No, yeah. Cologne was trying to Cologne the game away. They were trying to fall apart in the second half like they normally do. But their defensive back, Harris, was not letting that happen. He had a pick that pretty much almost sealed the game besides their offense throwing it away again. And then he did have an insane forced fumble that he caused, picked up, and returned for a touchdown.
He also had a pass breakup on a deep ball that if he doesn't get there and he doesn't fully extend his body, probably is going to catch the guy in stride and go for a tutty.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So, he was a fantastic game on his end.
Yeah.
For sure.
But, hey, former NC State D1 quarterback was trying to carry this team. 335 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 1 fumble lost late in the game that really screwed him up, but also 92 yards on the ground for a touchdown.
And a touchdown on the ground, too.
Yeah.
No, McKay played well. Overall, definitely some mistakes. I don't think he's the reason necessarily that they lost it, but yeah, definitely interceptions happen, especially if you're a quarterback. I don't think I'm going to harp on one interception too much, but the fumbling thing, man, like that is not something you as a quarterback should be doing.
No, it was just he got hit in the stomach and the ball just bloop,
he got
ran
blasted.
to defend it. Yeah.
So it happens, but yeah, I think that if he cleans that up, they probably figure out a way to win this game.
Yeah, and I heard that this Galaxy team was the team to take down the Rhine Fire. They announced it before the season started, and now they're sitting at 2-4.
I was about to say, and they're low-key cheeks, so
yeah, they're pretty bad.
Yeah,
probably should have reversed the quarterback from injury.
No, yeah,
it's what they get for having a clip art symbol of a galaxy instead of having an actual graphic designer do it.
Well, no, this is the old school NFL Europe one. Like, this has been the Galaxy logo in Europe since, like,
okay, so it
forever.
Came from Microsoft Office 1995?
Probably. It has been updated. If you look at the old one, it's a lot worse. So just saying.
I don't know how this spiraling donut octopus could be any worse.
Have you not seen a picture of a galaxy?
I have, and I'm just not impressed. That's all I'm saying.
What would you do? What would you change, Mr.
Designer?
That's
a good question. Let me see if I can get some graphic design skills going later on.
Well, you are not kidding. That old logo, man,
that is
garbage.
Yeah.
Now I have to see it.
Yeah, that is a yikes.
You think this one's bad?
The colors though, like they got the Phoenix Suns colors.
Yeah, the orange, fire. Actually, yeah. Like the Lions should have kept with their orange. The Galaxy could have kept with their orange.
Okay, now that looks like an octopus.
Yeah, that's the one you would have made.
Fuck you. Daddy, I design half the shit that we do. I mean, you do the better stuff, but I screw you. I do good graphic design.
I'm not saying you don't. I'm just kidding.
We're rambling. Let's talk about your team, Danny, and how they almost choked.
I don't know what happened.
I can tell you what happened. Carlton Aiken Jr. happened.
Yeah, Aiken. Their new OC. When you actually have a game plan besides what we like to call, Tanner and I, the Maxwell Weber playbook, where you only run 4 verts and QB draw. Our buddy Max in Madden would only run 2 plays, and it would be 4 verts, and he'd run the quarterback. That'd be about it. And the outcomes were the same as the Mercenaries. He'd lose every single time.
Well,
but they brought in his former head coach to be OC, and look what happened. I mean, they ran the ball 5 total times and let him throw it 44.
Yeah. But I mean, this is such a disgusting stat line. 29 completions, 396 yards, 4 touchdowns through the air, and then 8 rushes, 85 yards, and a tutty on the ground. That is, and also, oh my gosh, I'm looking at some of the receiver stats too. Anthony Brown went nuts, 13 for 159, and Spiller, I don't even know who Spiller is.
Spiller, homegrown.
Good for him.
Rookie.
7 receptions, 200 yards, 2 tuds. Oh, he's a rook?
Yeah.
Ooh, they might have something out there.
Remember when we interviewed Aiken, and he's the one who they called him down at the half-yard line, but he should have been called the touchdown because no Swiss player have ever recorded a touchdown in ELF history.
Well, now he has.
Now he's popping off.
They might be, if they make some good moves moving forward. I mean, they've got good pieces,
and they're getting better. They're signing quite a few Swiss players homegrown because the Swiss league just ended last weekend.
There we go.
Yeah. Some are actually going to the Bravos, or rumored to. Some are also going to the Dragons and Throners, I think, are signing some. Yeah. But the injuries really hurt the Vikings defense this week.
Yeah.
We were missing some players, a lot of busted coverage with the new import defensive backs.
Well, and it was just such a wild, chaotic game because, I mean, y'all were getting to Aiken. Like, so there were multiple recorded sacks. Like, I'm looking at
8 sacks.
Musangamuk had 2.5. Terlitza had 1.5. Like, yeah,
We had 8 sacks.
Jeez. But, it would be one of those situations of you sack, you get a stop, you get a sack. All of a sudden it's 3rd and 24, and then they converted it. And just got to put your hands up and say it happens. It happens.
Well, shit. But, hey, Reese Horn had – what the heck just happened? Why did we swap?
Sorry, I didn't mean to I didn't know I had the ability to get pained on the podcast.
But, hey, the leading elf receiver – Reese Horn back at it again, 145 and another hat trick. That's his 3rd hat trick on the year.
How many touchdowns? He has double-digit touchdowns, of course, at this point, but that is nuts.
He is popping off this year.
Ben Holmes had himself a nice game too. 22 completions, 291, 4 tuds, only 1 pick.
And that was an early pick like last week.
Yeah, I think for him, he just likes to feel out of defense, see what he can throw in between guys, if he can throw in between guys, like, how many balls he can force and stuff like that. So, but yeah, he had himself an excellent game.
Yeah. But this one pick was kind of dumb. He threw it into triple coverage on a play that he didn't need to do.
Well, that's kind of what I was getting at is like,
but it was just kind of,
can I force it in there? No, not today. I don't have the juice like that. We'll try again next week.
Yeah, it is what it is. That's okay.
Yeah. I mean, if you have 4 touchdowns, you're allowed to throw an interception.
Oh, yeah, you're fine.
I feel like that's a pretty good cutoff point,
Yeah.
It was relatively early in the game too, right?
Yeah, it was the first drive of the game.
Yeah.
It was the same thing that happened last week against whoever we played.
He's just getting the rust off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with the Raiders when he did that weird thing and something happened or whatever. Or no, I lied. When we played the Panthers in the very first, he was getting thrown down and just kind of flipped it up to nobody.
Well, I'm avoiding us moving on to the next game.
Yeah, hopefully the Vikings defense is better next week against a very high-powered Thunder, but we'll get into that.
Oh yeah, no, I've got some things to say about that in the second.
The El Clasico V2
was more like the El Dominato. I don't even think that's how you say dominant, but whatever.
No, Tanner, you want to break this one down for us since
you go for
Bravos fan?
I mean, I don't really know if there's much to break down. I mean, it just
we didn't forfeit. That's all that matters.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is huge for Barcelona. They didn't forfeit. They played the whole game, and I mean, it was over by halftime essentially.
Yeah, it was over
again. Yeah. I mean, Madrid definitely put up points in the third, but in the fourth, I mean, they were just running the ball to kill clock. And it kind of felt that way coming out of halftime. It almost felt like Madrid was just kind of running the ball to kill clock to get the game over with.
And we still couldn't stop the run.
No, but Barcelona hasn't been able to stop the run all year.
Yeah.
So, and with how good Obi is and Molina as a back, as a RB2, I mean, it's a good 1-2 punch. It's going to be hard for teams that can't stop the run to do anything against that.
And also the jet sweeps that y'all did with Patterson, y'all need to incorporate that more moving forward.
Well, Patterson's just fast.
Yeah,
he's just quick.
He's got game-breaking speed, and yeah, man, if you're not in the right position for that, he carved us up. I thought he had 3 rushes, but he had 2 carries for 39 yards. But yeah, both of them big explosive plays, So yeah, y'all.
They gave Romero 10 carries and he had 13 yards. I'm not really sure what happened there, but it's not ideal.
No, not at all.
Regardless, though, I mean, Madrid looks really good. We're gonna learn a lot more about Madrid this weekend, though, when they play Paris, and that's gonna give us a much better assessment than beating up the Barcelona.
Game.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a great game. I'm excited for that one.
I need to make a stat correction. Reese Horn only has 2 hat tricks this year. I forgot about Jordan Bois, week 1 hat trick. That's why, But
gotcha.
Plug Jordan Bois interview out on Tuesday. If you haven't listened to it, go listen to it.
Ooh. It's exclusively on our YouTube channel.
Yes.
There we go. Just in case they're looking on Apple or Spotify and they're like,
no, yeah, you have to find it on YouTube. Fourth Down Fiasco.
Cool.
But now to the team Tanner was talking about, Paris and Berlin.
Man, this was a good game. This was
not in the first half.
Well, yeah, but this was one of those that it got real spicy towards the end.
Yeah.
Paris dominated the first half, up 28-0, and then Berlin just came out possessed. And Jake Sullivan, for whatever reason, first half looked like absolute hot garbage. Second half, man, couldn't miss a receiver to save his life. And definitely, there are definitely some holes in Paris's defense that got exposed a little bit through the passing game this past weekend. So definitely something to keep an eye out for moving forward.
Yeah, Chandler Jones got hurt. Their American if there was an American rookie of the year, yeah, he's out for the season, I think. So they had to bring in a new American.
Wait, was he the guy who did the backflip?
No, that was.
Oh, you cut out on us.
Chandler Jones was hurt last week. The Sea Devils guy was the one that did the backflip and tore his Achilles pregame.
Sucks, man. And his family.
Don't do a backflip. But Berlin gave us the play of the week on a tush-push gator roll that turned into a 60-yard touchdown.
That was sick.
That was crazy.
Yeah, it was his own offensive lineman, actually, that gator rolled him.
It was Kyle Kitchens. It was their defensive end.
Was it? Why was he out there blocking?
I thought it was him. I thought he was just like in a fullback formation.
Maybe he was.
Real quick. I saw a 4.
But I just thought it was cool that one of the blockers was the one who gator rolled him, because you see that kind of stuff sometimes where like a guy will get hit and he'll roll over the defender and keep going. But I've never seen someone's blocker roll them over and set them free like that.
Yeah, he literally just pulled him over.
He was like, "You go here."
You have thoughts on this game?
I mean, not particularly. You were right. For thinking that Berlin could win, though. I mean, they had a huge second half comeback, and you and I were both trying to predict an upset this week, and both the games we picked, we got pretty close. There was a chance it was going to happen, but unfortunately picked the wrong games. Yeah. No, I think Berlin's still a scary team. I think they, I'm not sure. Does this put them at a losing record now, or are they still positive?
They're 4.
They're 4-4. They're 500 now. Okay. So yeah, I mean, there's still hope for them to sneak into the playoffs. It's looking worse and worse, but I mean, they have the offense to do it. It's just really up to their defense.
With the Raiders losing, Munich being 500, and no one else in the Western Conference besides the top 3 being over 500, they can sneak in being at 500. Depending on who they still have left to play, I guess, is my main thing.
They just have to hope for Tyrol to drop a bunch of games.
Yeah.
Because right now with Madrid and Paris being 5-1, that's tough.
Yeah.
I think we mention it every week. I don't think Berlin's making it. They have Vienna, Paris, Wroclaw, Fire.
Yeah, that's right.
To end their season.
Yeah.
I mean, if you would have read my Stuttgart Tirol article, just got to plug that in real quick too with American Football International. I talked about that. There's still a chance though. I think that don't count them out just yet. They have upset potential just because of how high powered their offense is. So
we'll get in about upset potential in a minute after this segment.
But yeah, any closing thoughts on this game other than Paris almost choked this one?
I wish we'd have seen Berlin play 4 quarters to see what would have actually happened. But it's football. If you don't play 4 quarters, you don't win.
Yep. True. Now, someone who did play 4 quarters, the Rhine
somehow finding ways to win.
The Rhine Fire absolutely decimated Hamburg. Yeah, I mean, where do we want to begin with this? This was a wild game for Rhine.
Jadrian Clark threw a touchdown every other pass.
Wow, it literally is every wow. Yeah,
pass rating.
12 completions, 6 touchdowns for 194 yards and no picks. That's like playing video games on the easy setting with all the sliders up.
Yep.
And then our guy,
and then Tunga doing Tunga, front runner of the MVP.
Yeah, I mean,
231 and 3 touchdowns.
And he had all
after last week going for 190 and 4.
He had all 3 touchdowns in the first quarter, didn't he? I know he had the 2 big.
He had one in the second, I think.
Oh, okay, one in the second.
I think he had one in the second.
And then the second half, they gave him like 5 snaps because they were like, we're up by enough. We don't want you to be hurt.
Yeah, they had 47 points at halftime.
Hey, surprisingly though, Hamburg put up a better fight than Cologne did. The Rhine game was 61-23 against Hamburg. When Cologne played Rhine, it was 62-9. So
wow.
Hamburg can hold their heads high there. They didn't get blown out as bad as Cologne did.
Yay, moral victory.
Yay, small wins in football. But yeah, no, not much to say about this. The Fire scoring 123 points the last 2 weeks, half of them almost by Glenn Tunga himself.
Yeah, the Fire have been on fire.
I think if he sat out the rest of the year, he's probably still the MVP.
Yeah, pretty close too. And the scary thing is, the past couple of weeks, Jadrian Clark has improved, and he's starting to look more like last year's Jadrian Clark. And
not by yardage numbers, but by comfortability.
Yeah, and especially with Tunga taking the load that he is, considering
he's not going to pass for a lot of yards.
Yeah, he wasn't on Rhine last year, and so Jadrian had the ability to put up these big 300-yard games and stuff. But yeah, dude, if Clark can do 12 of 14 for 200 yards basically, and doesn't even have to go for 6 touchdowns, if he can just go for 2 to 3, dog, that's all they need. They just need good, competent quarterback play. That's all they need.
That's true. Are you sure Tunga wasn't on?
No,
he was on the Fire last year.
No, he was with Hamburg.
I'm looking at the 23 roster right now.
You should just be able to click on his name on the sports metrics thing.
I know, but he was with Hamburg against the Vikings championship game in 2022, and then he went to the Fire in 23 and 24.
Oh, okay. I knew he was with Hamburg. I thought it was last year.
Yeah. Or no, he was with he was with Hamburg. Yeah. Besides the point, it would be terrifying when Clark decides to drop a 500-yard game and Tunga is just sitting there like, you thought I was running the ball?
But just for the Glenn Tunga MVP case, let me rattle off the stats real fast. Through 8 games, he has 1,200 yards. He's averaging 6.7 yards a carry and has 19 touchdowns.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. To put that in perspective, he has more yards on the ground than half the quarterbacks in the ELF do through the air.
All right, so I'm on Tunga's LinkedIn page. He's been with Rhine since January 2023.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm going to add him on LinkedIn now.
I am too.
Oh, yeah.
Jadrian Clark has 1,220 yards.
So Clark
has 15 yards less than his quarterback.
Yeah. And again, they gave Tunga like 5 snaps in the second half. So, Tunga could have put up 400 yards against this team. We could have seen an absolutely ridiculous stat line. but they want to preserve, his legs, which I don't blame them.
No, yeah. When you put up 197 yards at halftime, just sit down. Let's talk about the last game of the week, the one you wrote about, the one Tanner almost called as an upset. They really tried, but Perry did not want to win.
No,
he loves throwing picks.
Man, it was. I will say, I think this has probably been my favorite game this season, to be quite honest, just like from a spectator point of view, because I really thought that Raiders Tyrol was out in that fourth quarter, especially after that pick six. I was like, oh, yeah, that's it. That's game. And then they just kept fighting. So I will give it to Raiders Tyrol. They've got fight in them. But, yes, N'Kosi Perry lost them this game.
He's not the answer quarterback.
Yeah. You can't throw 3 picks. And, I think he also had a fumble too. And
probably
he's got more interceptions on the season than he does touchdown passes. He's just very turnover prone. This is his second game in a row throwing 3 picks. And so he just really struggles against the highest.
Both they could have won.
Yeah.
They could have won both games.
So if I am Raiders Tyrol, I'm looking at this telling myself, if we can find a different version of Perry that, doesn't throw as many interceptions, we can be a dangerous team.
Only if they had a quarterback in the beginning of the year that they shouldn't have released.
Well.
That's now playing elsewhere in the ELF.
Well.
But that's okay. Whole difference.
I don't know. I still think Perry's probably the best quarterback they've had this year. Even though he has a tendency to throw picks, I think he does open up something athletically. He can rush around. And
he's fast.
When he is accurate, he is accurate. Like when he is actually like looking downfield, he does make some pretty good throws. It's just a lot of time he makes the wrong reads. So if he
if you want to win games, you can't have Perry rely on his arm. He can run. You have one of the best running backs. Don't have him throw the ball 41 times a game.
No, I don't think
they threw it 41 times. Cut that in half. Cut that in a third, and you probably win this game.
But I think if I were Tyrol, I think I would rather have Perry than I'd rather have Fulford. I think Perry has a higher ceiling than Fulford does. And I think a lot of the reason why we've seen the Raiders compete with these better teams over the last couple of weeks is because Perry opens up that offense more. It's just his mistake proneness is not the thing that's going to get them to win against these top teams. It's going to have them compete, but when you throw 3 picks, it's really hard to beat a team like Stuttgart,
Yeah.
No, yeah. And their run defense is just phenomenal. They held Bonatti to 28 yards on 18 attempts. He did get 3 touchdowns, but 28 yards.
And that's because they were on the goal line and they didn't want Perry to throw the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
But Tanner, yes to him making bad reads. Also, something else that he does is he panics when he is under duress. He doesn't throw the ball away. He just throws it, and because that last interception that he had was a off the back foot spinning, wasn't even looking at the guy, where it's like, dude, you should have just taken the hit, man.
Or just chucked it out of bounds,
Just get rid of the ball. Don't
if you have to
make a hero play.
eat the penalty, but
But if you're out of pocket and you throw it in the general vicinity of somebody, most of the time it's not going to be intentional grounding. It's only if it, goes 5 yards.
Well, if you're out of the pocket, as long as it goes past the line of scrimmage, it's not intentional grounding.
Exactly.
Anywhere on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if you're in the pocket and you're getting hit, just throw it to a running back that's blocking and be like, oh, he was a receiver.
Overall, though, this game was a ton of fun, and you shouted out Stuttgart's rush defense. Man,
they're number 1.
Tyrol Raiders, or Raiders Tyrol, excuse me. Their pass defense looked pretty good against the MVP frontrunner Riley Hennessy. Only 190 yards, 17 completions, 1 touchdown and interception, and they were all over the place, man. I saw him take some hits, and it's funny, because Stuttgart really hasn't played anybody up to this point, and we've talked about it before. And there was one hit that Hennessy took early in the game. It was, I think, like the second quarter. Took a shot straight in the ribs. Big hit. And he just kind of just sits there. And it's like, you can see through the look of, oh, shit.
That hurt.
Yeah. So it'll be very interesting to see how he does, against the highest competitors in the playoffs, because they're still not the only other important game they have this season against a decent team is Tirol again. And it's so late that I think it's their last game of the season. They could probably just bench
everyone. Yeah. Who is the weaker conference? Is it the Central or Eastern?
Let me see. Let me go look.
So Eastern is Vienna, Berlin, Wrocław, Ferencváros, Prague. Central is Stuttgart, Raiders, Munich, Milan, Barcelona, and Helvetic. They're both pretty bad conferences.
I'm going to go Eastern.
Just because we have the 0-8 team and 1-6 team? Yeah.
Yeah,
I would too. I mean, and I think even if you compare the top 3 teams in both of those conferences, I think like if you're going 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, like I would take Stuttgart over Vienna, I would take Raiders over Berlin, and I would take Munich over Wrocław. So
I really want to see a Berlin Raiders game. I feel like that would be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with Tanner on that one of, if you compare the top 3 teams, and
No, everyone's saying the Eastern Conference is the weakest team, and I agree with that. I was just curious because there are bad teams in both. Well, the worst teams in the leagues are in both.
It still doesn't make a ton of sense to me how Barcelona is considered Central Conference when they're the second or third most Western team, but
they're the second most Western team.
Well, Madrid I know is further west. Is Paris? Are they on the same line, or is it slightly?
Paris would be a little bit more west because you're on the I forget what C that is. I wrote it in the article. I just forgot what the name of it is. It starts with a B, I think.
Bordeaux. I don't know.
Bellerac.
I'm pulling up Google Maps because I just want to see.
It's not a ton. It's like a little bit more east than Paris is, but it is.
Actually, if you look at straight at Google Map, Barcelona is
more east.
Technically a little more on my Google Map. Barcelona's west than Paris.
I mean, we can go to break and I'll look up coordinates and we can let people know on.
And you know what?
Still, it doesn't matter. Barcelona belongs in the Western Conference.
Yes, and that wouldn't bode well for them. So,
but
while we go look up some coordinates, y'all hang tight. We have a quick commercial break. We'll be right back to forecast who we think is going to win next week right after this.
You're the proud owner of a business, and you've got it all. The hustle, the bustle, and the occasional office kitchen mishap that turns into an alarm-triggering emergency.
Oh!
But fear not. Western States Fire Protection is here to turn your workplace into a disaster-free zone. Our in-house team handles everything from fire sprinklers to alarms, monitoring, inspections, extinguishers, and more. Visit WSFP.com to request a quote.
Are you looking for a podcast to advertise your business? Well, you're in luck. Here at the Fork Down Fiasco, we're looking for show sponsors. Whether you want to be a platinum sponsor and be mentioned at the beginning and end of every episode, or you just want a simple 30 or 60-second ad, we got you covered. If you're interested in having a spot on our show, you can reach us at forkdownfiasco@gmail.com. That's forkdownfiasco@gmail.com. We are excited to hear from you and even more excited to have you on the show. Join the Fiasco family now.
And welcome back to the Fourth Down Fiasco. Yes, we're back from commercial break, and we're very excited to get to talk to y'all about Week 9 of the European League of Football. But real quick, before we do that, don't forget to rate us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. It's the best way for us to grow the show. And you can also follow us on social media. We are at @4thdown_pod on Twitter and at Fourth Down Fiasco on TikTok and Instagram, which I can't tell you the last time we used our TikTok, but we're starting to build stuff up on Instagram, which is cool. So doing that. And also we have the YouTube page, which is getting traction. We got over 100 and some, I don't know, over 100 views of some sort for our interview with the owner of the Madrid Bravos, Martin Lostau. So Jaime Martin Lostau, excuse me. So, but yeah, going into Week 9, first game on the slate.
There's a good slate of games this week.
Very good slate of games, and that first one's going to be so much fun. Milano, Seaman, Farivar, and Throners. Who do you have?
That's a tough one, to be honest. I do not like that one.
Because there's a world for both answers.
Oh, I know. I hate it.
Well, you know what? Since I didn't do my due diligence last week, I'll do it this week. I'm taking the Farivar and Throners. They're at home, I think. Are they at home?
They are at home.
Okay, cool. They're at home, and they're coming off of a dub. Yeah, Milano's in trouble.
Oh, Farivar super fan's going to be there. Did you see the clip of at halftime, the one fan that was just like at the tunnel, was just like, like high-fiving like every single player going into the tunnel?
That's incredible.
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
I need to find the clip. I think Alex posted it. Oh, so funny.
I hope he has a wonderful day on Saturday when they get a dub.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree.
Tanner?
I think Verivar is going to win.
Yeah, momentum.
Yep.
No,
it's also because I hate
any
Milano.
Reasons? Yeah.
No, mostly just because I hate a Milano.
That's fair. All right, so I'm going to go into some stats here. And Throner's passing offense is ranked 9th. Their rushing is ranked 17th. Their defense is one of the worst in the league. And the Milano's, their defense is better than their offense.
Look, this is not a game of stats. This is a game of feeling, okay? This is eye test and heart test only, Daniel.
And my heart tells me
all
Milano
on feels,
sucks.
baby. This league.
Yeah, my heart tells me that Milano's 3 wins is fraudulent as hell.
I mean, it kind of is.
Can we just take a look back real quick? Beginning of the year. Farivar. Hey, they might do good or be good, whatever. And we're like, Seaman don't even belong in the league. Garbage. Just get him out of here. 0-3. They rattle off 3 wins, and we're sitting here like, is Milano good? And then they lose to Helvetic bye week, and now we're like, get him out of here. Farivar,
Hey, we're back. We're back.
War with them.
We lost way from the truth, and now we're back on the truth. You know.
Well, but in between all that, we said Farivar is going to get relegated back to the AFL.
I mean, they still might, but they might as well go out in style. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Beat up on some Italians.
Beat up on them. You know? Yeah, beat up on them seamen. You know.
Yeah, you know. Really bust them seamen. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. And on that note, my feeling is in Throners as well. Give me Farivar, baby. Jack Mango's about to pop off. 350, 4 tutties, 1 on the ground.
Woo! Man, yeah, you're definitely not drinking that semen Kool-Aid. Good for you.
I am not drinking the semen.
God.
All right, Tanner, start us off. This one, Paris, Madrid. Battle of the juggernauts besides the fire in the Western Conference.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is easily game of the week, right?
Oh yeah,
it's
there's the next 2 games should be really good games.
Yeah, but I think this is going to be the most competitive, and I think these are the 2 teams that have the most to prove by winning this game.
And bigger implications.
And honestly, I think Paris does have the advantage right now in my brain, just because Zach Edwards has been playing so well recently. But Madrid's my team, so I'm going to pick Madrid. It's also in Madrid. So.
Fair enough, bro.
You hate Paris, so I know your answer.
Me?
Yeah.
I
You're
mean,
gonna
it's
pick
fuck the French, but I think I might actually go with Paris on this one, just because. Yeah, Zach Edwards he has definitely been on an MVP level last couple of games.
Definitely.
And yeah, the thing about Madrid is they are a very well constructed team, but they don't have a ton of holy shit players, that just guys who can just take over the game. And to this point in the season, it hasn't really mattered. You need a good, solid team. I think it'll matter more in the playoffs whenever it's time for somebody to really turn it on, and we'll see if Obi is that guy, and we'll see if Duncan's that guy. But for right now, I think Zach Edwards is that guy and has proven time and time again that he's that guy. So yeah, I think I'm gonna be, just to be spiteful, because y'all whooped Barcelona's ass, and I'm still mad about it. Y'all did it twice this season, so I'm going with Paris.
That's fair.
But it's still fuck the French.
Yeah. My biggest worry is Madrid's rush defense. They're ranked in the bottom half of the league against Zach Edwards, who can throw for 400 yards or rush for 200 if he wants to.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't contain him, what is he going to do to you guys?
Yeah, I will say we are really bad at rush defense, but we haven't really played like a run-first quarterback yet. True. So they might have a good scheme, which is run a freaking QB spy, right? They might have a good scheme to stop him in that situation. And
I would if your import defensive back didn't get hurt for the year.
That's true.
There's been a lot of defensive backs that got hurt this year, which really sucks. I hate injuries.
Me too.
But both offenses are around the same. They're both ranked 7. They're 7 and 6. Like, they're right next to each other. But Paris's defense is ranked a lot higher. Well, not a lot higher. They're ranked higher than Madrid's, especially their rush defense. And I think Edwards is just going to beat you guys on the ground. So I'm going Paris.
And to tack onto that, something that Madrid has really used, to their advantage is their RB1, RB2 tandem, to really make things. Duncan doesn't need things to be easier for him, but it is in a way almost like that Dak Prescott style offense. I hate to give you that comparison because I know that you probably detest that, Tanner, but truly, like that, there's a lot of, hey, yep, we're going to rush. We're going to get them in a short passing situation. Sometimes those passes turn into long passes because you do a play action or something, but it definitely does revolve more around the running game for them.
Mm-hmm. I do want to mention before we go on, Jordan is now tied with Tanner in our pick'ems.
Wait, is that number one behind you?
And you guys are one behind me. If I did not switch my Paris pick from last week just to switch it up and be a little spicy, I'd be 2 ahead. But it is what it is. No going bag. It is. But we're all within a game. And right now, Tanner's either falling back or catching up because he's different right now. And I feel like this one's about to be a little different too, with the Vikings in Berlin.
Yeah. Yeah, this will be an interesting one.
I mean, I still like the Vikings offense. Mm-hmm. They can put 50, 60 points if they need to. Injuries happen on the defense. I don't know what happened with Helvetic and how they gave up 600 total yards of offense. But I just think Vikings are a better team than Berlin. Yeah, they only won by 5 the time before, but they also shut down Sullivan and their offense, only holding them to 20. So I just have to take Vienna because they're my team, and I think they're a better team, even though their defense is a little banged up.
It's hard because I think one of the 2 undefeated teams is going to lose this week. And so it's just a matter of, like, I'm looking at this and I'm just like, which of those 2 is it going to be? I'm gonna go with Berlin on this one. I think that they smell blood in the water with Tirol not being able to capitalize on a Stuttgart almost choke job. I think that they won it. It's at home. To your point, your defense is banged up right now. We're dealing with Jacob Sullivan, who can put up yards in a hurry. And I think that they're the one style of team that mirrors yours enough that if they get hot, they can win. And Kyle Kitchens, just being the absolute animal that he is on the end, is going to make life a living hell for Ben Holmes. So yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go with Berlin with the upset today, this week.
All right,
spicy.
Tanner, let's hear your thoughts.
I'm gonna go with Vienna.
You're going with Vienna.
Yeah.
That actually shocks me, to be honest. I did not expect you to go Vienna. I don't know why, but I just had a feeling you weren't. But let's hear why.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really been as high on Berlin as you guys have this year. I am high on them. Like, I think their offense is really good. I think it's easily one of the best in the league. But even with a banged up Vienna, I think it's going to be one of those statement games where, you know, you gave up 40 to Helvetic last week. The defense isn't going to give up 40 again. And I think that Vienna will score, you know, at least 30 on Berlin. And if the defense isn't going to give 30 back, then Berlin's not going to win this game.
So our answers are locked in. But Jordan, I just want to tell you that Berlin's pass defense ranked 14th. So Ben Holmes is about to be Ben VP and pass for 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, until my boy Kyle Kitchens is in his back pocket every play and he throws a couple of picks.
They are ranked 3rd in sacks. I'll give you that much.
Yeah,
Vienna's ranked 1st.
Actually, I'm gonna counter those stats, and I think that Kyle Kitchens is gonna have 2.5 sacks and 3 tackles for loss total. You know, or I guess it has to be 3.5, but whatever the number is. And I think Ben Holmes is gonna throw 2 picks.
2 picks against the 14th ranked defense.
Yep. You heard it.
14th ranked passing defense, not overall.
One.
Oh wait, no, I read that wrong. They're 3rd ranked passing, 14th ranked rushing.
Oh, y'all are screwed.
Carey's gonna run for 250 yards.
Ain't nobody scared about him, bruh.
He's the 3rd best rusher in the ELF.
I'm not worried about him. The only running back that actually puts fear into my heart.
All right. A game that we should be worried about, the Panthers versus the Surge. Are the Surge going to come back for a vengeance, only winning by 5 against the Raiders?
See, this is another one of those games that I think Vroslav has the one thing that Stuttgart doesn't want to deal with, and that's AJ Wentland. And I could just see it being a marquee game from him and him just decking the shit out of Riley Hennessy every play he can.
He's not a blitzer, though. You always forget that. He kind of drops back.
He does a little bit of everything, but I still think I'm going to give it to Stuttgart, though. I only one of the 2 undefeated teams is going down this week, so I gotta be smart about it because I'm 1 game behind you. So not every take is spicy.
This game is going to be the decider. Well, last game.
Yeah,
that's our 1 game. But Tanner, what are you going with?
Yeah.
I'm going to follow through with Stuttgart as well. I think Wrocław is starting to move in the right direction, but I don't think they've moved in the right direction enough to compete with Stuttgart. I think Stuttgart is too complete of a team, and I think the gap between Tyrol and Wrocław is pretty big. And if Tyrol couldn't do it against Stuttgart, I don't see Wrocław doing it against them.
Yeah. I will say I like the Panthers offense now. Matty Vitale, nicknamed Matty Ice. That's what they call him. But him being back in the offense for 2 weeks now, and he didn't play horrible the first week, but the Panthers defense is going to let him down, and the Surge are going to win. I do like I think it's going to be a high scoring game, but the Surge are just going to win because they're the better team. So that's that. Yeah. Here's a fun one. Our Mercs versus the Munich Ravens.
That's hard because I feel like Helvetic has figured it out on offense.
Their defense has always been good.
Yeah.
Their offense just put up 40 points against a banged up top defense.
Yeah.
But they have a game plan now, and their OC's been there for 2 weeks. You saw what he did with 3 days.
Ooh, let me.
Tanner,
while y'all decide, I'm gonna look through Munich stuff.
I'll start first. I think if Helvetic was playing a Cologne or a Frankfurt or a Hamburg, I'm absolutely picking them in this situation. But I think Munich has proven themselves to be competitive enough this year that I think Helvetic's going to struggle against playing their defense. I think Munich has a relatively good defense. And I also think Munich can do enough to keep control of keep control of game possession and keep control of the clock. Whereas I think Helvetic might struggle a little bit more of that. Helvetic really relies on their big shot plays. That's really how they came back against Vienna. So I think Munich has just proven it more this year, whereas Helvetic's still in this early stage of kind of changing their identity. So I'm going to stick with Munich, even though I see the vision of Helvetic winning this week.
Do you think Helvetic could beat the Raiders?
No, I don't think. I think if they weren't able to beat, I think the Raiders, they're not one of those top 5 teams, but they're like on the fringe of being a top 5 team. And I think their defense is good enough that Helvetic won't be able to come. I don't think they can go up to that, right? And I think
the Ravens have not beat an over 500 team this year.
Yeah, and Helvetic has what, 1 win, 2 wins?
1 win.
1 win, yeah. So,
yeah. But yeah, the Ravens have lost to the Surge twice and the Raiders, but then annihilated the Lions, Seamen, and the Dragons.
Yeah, I guess probably Munich. My brain's telling me Munich, my heart's telling me Helvetic, but I'm gonna go with my brain on this one, especially with it being in Munich, and they're another one of those teams that they're still kind of in that playoff hunt, and they've got to capitalize on every game, whereas Helvetic's just kind of playing with house money at this point. They're not making the playoffs. They know that. So they're just figuring out things for next year, basically trying to build up as much as they can. So I guess the dynamic changes in that regard. So yeah, I guess I'll go Munich with that one.
And I'll add 2 more things before you give your game, Danny. The Munich Tyrol game was 26-29, where Munich won off of a 2-minute drill, Tyrol won off a 2-minute drill, which was really close. And then
that should not have happened.
That shouldn't have happened. So they
fourth down conversions or something like that.
Yeah, it was like 3 or 4. So Munich pretty much had that game, but lost it the last second. And also Munich's coming off of a bye going into this week.
Technically 3 byes. Just saying. They had a bye week before the Dragons, played a half against the Dragons, then it went into a bye week. And now
let's just kick Jordan while he's down and just talk shit about his team. Why are we catching strays, Daniel?
Because they didn't play a full game. They didn't have to hit people. They haven't taken the beating in the last 3 weeks of football.
But yeah, they will be fresh. They will be fresh. I'll give you that.
Yeah, so they have a lot of rest going into this. They're also at home.
Yeah, that's true. As much as I'm a Helvetic truther, I'm going Ravens as well.
Dude, it's going to be great.
Disregard my tweet from earlier. Oh, yeah.
Next year, whenever Helvetic is one of the top dogs because they made all the right moves and our boy is going off and going crazy, it'll be great because all 3 of us will be Helvetic fans.
Oh, just because he was our first interview, we have to root for Helvetic. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Do we need to talk about the next game, Galaxy Fire?
we all have to say who's going to win, but I think we can count it down. In unison? 3, 2, 1. Rhine Fire.
Fire. Yeah, that's. How many points are they going to score? Is the question. How many points are they going to score, and how many touchdowns is Tunga going to have?
Tunga's going for 3 again. He's getting another hat trick.
Yeah. Tanner?
I'm going to say they score 53. I'm going to say it's a little bit less than what they've been doing the last 2 weeks.
All right.
Wow.
I'm saying they put up 69 and Tunga's going for 3 as well.
69.
Yeah.
Are they playing the Seaman?
Ah.
I mean, is there really anything else to explain about this game other than Ryan is significantly the better team and Frankfurt has no chance?
It's at home with the Fire in their blackout unis, all black.
Ooh,
Fire unintended.
That reminds me, we didn't mention it, and it's a travesty that we didn't. But those Midnight Navy Paris uniforms.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
But before we talk about the last game on the slate, bro, those uniforms were disgusting. I love
Fire. The navy blue and gold. Oh my gosh, that was beautiful. Dan, are you as high on those jerseys as we are?
I think they look good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, he's not as high as us, but it's fine.
But if like the Bravos came out with something similar, but with their like gray black with their orangish gold trimming like they did, that would be sick.
Mm-hmm. I'd be a fan.
But yeah, in back to the games, the last game on the slate of week 8 or 9.
Okay.
Wow. That was just a messed up sentence.
All good.
The battle of the bottom of the Western Conference, the Hamburg Sea Devils and the underdogs, Cologne.
I mean, is Cologne really that much of an underdog? Because, I mean, Hamburg's not.
No, technically they're higher in the standings.
I was about to say, Hamburg's not particularly great.
Well, not for long, baby, because Hamburg's going to win this one.
You're going Hamburg.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
I don't have a great rationale, honestly. I just from the games they've played, Hamburg has always been blown out less than Cologne has been blown out. And I've seen Cologne pretty much throw games away most of the year. And they really tried their best to throw away the game against Frankfurt. Frankfurt was just throwing it away harder. So I think as long as Hamburg keeps their foot on the pedal and they, go out there and play 4 quarters of football, I think they're the better team than Cologne. And that's really about it. There's not much. There's not much more to add to it. This is also
they are 2-0 against Cologne all time.
Hamburg is.
Yeah.
There we go. Then we got that too. I also think this is the first week Fuelford will have like a full week of rest going into a game, right? So yeah. I'm sure he'll look better.
He still threw 3 touchdowns last week.
Yeah.
I was looking at it, 3 touchdowns, 240 yards, 2 picks, but that's against the Fire defense.
Yeah, and Cologne's defense is a lot worse than Ryan's is. So, yeah, I'm sure he'll look better.
No, I'm going to join you with the Sea Devils. They kind of fell off, but I don't think they're going to keep falling.
I am going to disagree. Man, this is going to be a spicy week for our record rankings. I think Cologne might have figured out a couple of things offensively last week. I think that with it being a home game, they've got some momentum, and I'm just really not sold on Hamburg. They just something about them. They just seem like a soft team, and that's it.
Fair. Just feeling.
Yeah, just
you really felt your way to a good team to root for, huh?
What was that?
You really felt your way to a good team to root for as well, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. And maybe I'm also a closeted Cologne fan. Maybe that's what it is. I like their logo.
It's sick.
It is sick.
Those both are pretty sick logos.
Yeah, Hamburg has a pretty sick one too. Yeah. Their graphic designers, I hope they made good money.
Their graphics are fire.
But yeah, I just think that, they won last week. They're on a roll. Maybe they're trying to gain some momentum. It's a home game. Hamburg's not a particularly great team. Tanner, to your point, yes, Cologne has gotten blown out worse than Hamburg. But we also did that with Prague and Fervar, and it didn't work out for us. So I'm going to go with the flip side of that.
But I also picked Prague because I had the cooler logo, and you're doing the same thing for Cologne, so you got to be careful.
Fair enough. It's a lot of omens.
That's true. All right. We have some games that can switch us up.
Yeah.
Jordan
we
could technically take the lead.
Oh, I sure
Jordan
can.
could technically take the lead after this week.
I sure can.
If our two differences are wrong.
Hey, look, all I'm saying is I told y'all don't let me lock in, and I locked in.
All I can do is tie you, right, Danny? Because we only
Um,
pick different on one game.
yeah.
Okay.
The Madrid and Paris.
Just killed the spider. That was fun.
Nice.
Yeah, he was just like crawling on my wall.
Nice.
Poor dude.
That's fair. But yeah, I think that's all we have. Let us know your picks if you've listened to this long.
Dude, if you've listened to this long, you are a warrior and a diehard.
If you've listened this long, message us on any social media platform. That Cologne has a sick logo.
And probably the one person who it'll be Jamal Clay.
It'll be Marcus as well.
Oh yeah. Marcus do be listening in like that.
Do we think Alex listens all the way through?
No, I'm not. It's not because he doesn't like the show. I think Alex has so much shit on his plate with the ELF that he doesn't have time to. That's what
He probably just throws us in the background and just forgets about us.
I mean, that's what I hope a lot of people do. That's how.
That's fair.
That's the mark of a good podcast.
That's true.
Is if you can play it the entire time while you're doing something.
That's fair. But so yeah, we have two announcements maybe coming soon.
Yes.
Stay tuned to that.
And
you can find us on American Football International now.
Yes, we do. Yeah, we are writing for American Football International now. I don't know how that works with our Wix site, but we'll let y'all know as we figure things out.
We'll figure it out.
And in the coming weeks, we will start talking about the NFL again. I promise.
NFL.
So we got to talk about the Minnesota wide receiver room.
Ooh. Yeah.
Hey, and college football is now a 12-team playoff instead of 4. That's exciting.
Hell yeah, I'm excited about that.
We needed that a long time ago.
Yeah.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think 12 is the right number. I don't think you need to go any further than 12.
12.
Because if we're being
honest,
honest,
you're 13, you're not winning.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, teams probably like 9 through 12 probably for the most part don't have a shot.
Yeah.
But
it lets the top teams schedule more competitive games. Because before they're like, oh, we have one hard game because if we lose, we're out.
Yeah.
But now like Ohio State will be able to schedule
want...
Penn State, Michigan.
Well, that's why so many people wanted to keep it 4. All the people who rooted for the Alabama, Georgia's, Ohio State, Michigan's like, oh, well, I don't want to have to play anybody that's tougher than Ohio University.
But now you get 12 and you're going to have to play like Oklahoma versus Georgia or Alabama versus Oklahoma State. Like,
it makes it more interesting instead of, Alabama playing Kennesaw State every year,
Yeah.
Yeah, because I would have loved to see, like, Ohio State, they're the dominant college football team just over our course of history. But a 12-team playoff last year would have been so good because you had Washington, Alabama, Georgia, Oregon.
Yeah, it gives an opportunity
Ohio State, Michigan.
Schools, or not even smaller schools, but some of the lesser programs that, those recruiting classes where you crack the top 10 and you're normally not a top 10 program, that is generational, like the lifetime type of stuff for y'all. Yeah. So it gives them the opportunity to really capitalize on, hey, yeah, Washington had a great team. They're number 8. And now here they are, they're getting to play, or, your TCUs of the world.
I mean, hell, you can even get like a Sun Belt team like Troy or something.
They could have the highest group of 5 team makes an automatic playoff bid.
Yep.
And
nice.
They could make noise. Like we saw UC go.
I was just about to say, yeah. I was thinking UCF. Those 2 undefeated seasons that they had back to back, where because their conference was shit, they didn't get any love, but they still beat both years. They beat 2 ranked teams.
Yeah,
and so it gives them the chance to, if they have an undefeated season and have the best roster that their school has ever put out. Period. Not even close. Yeah. At least let them compete. Give
them a chance. It's football.
Yeah, give them that game against Bama or against Georgia or whoever else. If they get their ass whooped, they get their ass whooped, but at least give them that chance.
Well, that's the thing is
took Georgia to the final seconds.
The thing is, the SEC schools and the Big Ten teams don't want to play them because they think they might lose to them, and that would be embarrassing. That's the whole reason they never wanted to be less than 4. You know, the Ohio State and Michigans and Georgias and Alabamas, they never wanted to lose to a UCF. You know,
because they have, and it's humiliating. They're paying $1 million for a school to come in and they lose. Imagine now in a bowl game for a championship implication.
Yeah. So that'll be cool. So yeah, definitely. We will incorporate some non-ELF stuff in the coming weeks of this podcast, just because we are, we do talk all about football, and we've just been talking a lot about the ELF, but it's just because the ELF's been so much fun.
It's also
and they have,
it's great.
Yeah,
yeah, that too.
But we're preparing for the NFL season. We're preparing for college football, so plenty to talk about, including the Minnesota wide receiver room. So thanks everybody for checking us out. This has been Danny, Tanner, Jordan saying goodbye, and don't forget to rate us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcast again. Thank you so much. Take care, y'all.
Peace.
Well, I like school, and I like football, and I'm gonna keep doing them both because they make me feel good.